What's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope we're all doing absolutely fine. And today, as usual, I'll be reading to you the Discourses by Epictetus. And let's get started. Chapter 22 on Primary Conceptions. Primary conceptions are common to all men, and one does not conflict with another. Who among us, for instance, that does not assume that the good is expedient and desirable, and that we ought, in all circumstances, to follow and pursue it? Which of us does not assume that the just is noble and becoming? At what moment then does conflict arise? It arises in the application of primary conceptions to particular facts, when, for instance, one says, "He has done well, he is brave," and another, "Nay, he is out of his mind." Hence arises the conflict of men with one another, such as the conflict between Jews and Syrians and Egyptians and Romans. Not the question whether holiness must be put before all things and must in all circumstances be pursued, but whether it is holy or unholy to eat of swine's flesh. Such you will find is the conflict between Agamemnon and Achilles. Call them to come forward. What do you say, Agamemnon? Do you say that what is right and noble ought not to be done? Of course it is odd. And what do you say, Achilles? Do you not approve of doing what is noble? Nay, I approve of it above all things. I approve of it above all things. Now apply these primary notions, and here the conflict begins. One says, "I ought not to give back Chryseis to her father." The other says, "Nay, you ought." Certainly one or another of them wrongly applies the primary notion of right. Again, one says, "Well, if I must give back Chryseis, I must take the price from one of you." The other says, What, take away my beloved?" "Yes, yours," he says. "And I alone, then, to be the loser? But I'm alone to have nothing?" So the conflict arises. But am I alone to have nothing? So the conflict arises. In what then does education consist? In learning to apply the natural primary conceptions to particular occasions in accordance with nature, and further to distinguish between things in our power and things not in our power. In our power, our will and all operations of the will are beyond our power, are the body, the parts of the body, possessions, parents, brothers, children, country. In a word, those whose society we share. Where then are we to place the good? To what class of things shall we apply it? To what is in our power. Does it follow then that health and the whole body and life are not good, nor children, parents, and country? No one will bear with you if you say that. Let us then transfer the name good to this class of things. It is possible for a man to be happy if he is injured and fails to win good things. It is impossible. Can he also find the proper way to live with his fellows? Nay, how is it possible? For instance, I incline by nature to my true interest. If it is my interest to have a field, it is also my interest to take it away from my neighbor. If it is my interest to have a robe, it is my interest also to steal it from the bath. This is the source of wars, factions, tyrannies, plots. Again, how shall I be able to observe what is fitting towards Zeus? For if I am injured or unfortunate, he heeds me not. So one hears, what have I to do with him if he cannot help me? And again, what have I to do with him if he wills that I should be as I am now? It follows that I begin to hate him. Why then do we build temples and make images to Zeus as if he were an evil genius, as if he were fever? How can we give him any more the name Savior, rain giver, and fruit giver? Surely, if we place the true nature of the good in outward things, all these consequences follow. What, what are we to do then? This is the search to be made by the true student of philosophy who is in trivial with truth. These are his thoughts. I do not see what is good and what is evil. Am I not mad? I am. But if I put the good in the region of things that my will controls, everyone will laugh at me. Some gray-haired old man will arrive with many gold rings on his fingers. Then he will shake his head and say, "Listen to me, my child. You must study philosophy, but you must keep a cool head too. All that talk is folly. You learn the syllogism from philosophers, but you know better than the philosophers what you ought to do. But you know better than the philosophers what you ought to do. Fellow, do you rebuke me then if I know it? What am I to say to this slave? If I am silent, he bursts with anger. Why not to say, "Pardon me as you would pardon lovers. I am not my own master. I am mad." Alright. So guys, thank you for joining me today on this video. As usual, we're gonna continue tomorrow with the next chapter. Thank you, see you, and bye.